Hi, here we go folks, on to the final stage of the whole entire game, so we'll just dive right in. So hey, what's up everybody? It is I am the one and only Pac-Man here once again, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of the forms of our Mega Man Marathon 2, and also welcome back for more of Let's Play of Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. So, last time we did manage to wrap things up for the majority of the forms of those Robot Masters from the likes of Mega Man 4 for the NES. Basically we managed to take down the first full half of those Robot Masters from Mega Man 4 for the NES. So today, for this video, is the fact that we'll hopefully try to wrap things up with the forms of Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy, and because of that, like I said, we're going to be tackling through the final stage in the whole entire game, which is of course the Dr. Wily's Fortress level. So because of that, but before we dive right into this though, as you can see, we've stumbled across yet another Mega Man Killers, which this time around though, as you can tell, that he's gonna be, I'm not gonna lie, kind of a challenge, because obviously that he moves significantly fast, and also every time when he starts able to actually use the Spiked Ball ability, that also means is the fact that it'll packs a punch on you. So as a result though, and his name is, by the way, is Punk. So, yeah, I'm not exactly exaggerating about this, because that's his true name. His name is Punk. So after dealing with him for enough hits on him by simply using the Mega Buster, you get yourselves the Screw Crusher, which is mandatory by the way if you decided able to actually finish the whole entire adventure. So anyway, so now we got ourselves the password. So in this case though, is that it? Is that literally how the that stage actually plays out that we've already experienced already? Okay, nothing to be bragging right or anything, but hey, at least we can able to actually go into the actual castle itself. So, yeah, you get the idea. Basically, we're just able to go for the last few obstacles from this point right here, and then hopefully we're able to actually confront the forms of Dr. Wily himself for the third time for this entire marathon, or technically speaking, no, I can't remember how many times that we actually going to be beat the likes of the forms of Dr. Wily for the sake of our YouTube channel's sake. Although, I do definitely know about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that technically, that relatively speaking, that we have managed able to took him down for about 14 times already. So this is our 15th time doing this. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, yeah, today's day is of course the 7th of August today, in this case in 2022 today. Not much else is going on, I'm afraid, apart from the fact that, well, until whenever we get to the point, until whenever we finish this particular Let's Play itself, then I probably should able to discuss on the forms of that specific update for our uploading schedules in terms of the forms of Mega Man Marathon 2. And because of that though, we can able to actually save that up for later, so anyways, let's use Rush Jet to able to actually avoid not only certain enemies, but also the instant death spikes. So, yeah, something's worth mentioning. And, oh jeez, I get a horrible feeling about this. Okay, so now we've actually avoided those spikes and used the Shadow Blaze just in case we'll able to have ourselves an easier time experiencing this. So, at the very least, that's that. Oh god, I got surrounded by those grenade enemies. But it might be pretty unavoidable sometimes though, I must admit. But regardless of such though, we'll accept the fact. So yeah, it seems that Speedball specifically, though I suppose that Proto Man has forgotten to mention about this, even though that, mind you, I think, darn it, I just somehow just got hurt and I have to go all the way back, so that's just great. Although, because I was expecting if I was trying to oh, okay. Whew. That was pretty close. Especially noticeable about the fact that if I get hit multiple times, I'll have to restart the whole entire stage again. So, that won't be that fun if you manage to able to go all that stuff. So, now I believe if I recall correctly, it's the fact that much like the forms of, let's just say in Dr. Wily's Revenge and Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, I'm pretty darn certain that how you do not able to actually select the actual or trying to press the B button if you get game over, because I'm pretty sure the well, it has been a couple of hours since I actually did manage to able to actually come across into a game over screen for certain Game Boy Mega Man games. Although luckily though you do have a password system, so because of that though, that way if you insert that password as you notice, then you can obviously able to experience this stage without meaning to able to actually... Excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point guys, because I know for the fact that I was a bit tad hungry at this point. So anyways, let's go ahead and keep on shooting this little capsule looking robot, and then, oh no, this again. After the events of Dustman stage. Oh jeez, this is gonna be, I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a pain to able to actually go for this stuff again, except the fact that the biggest difference is now, to make matters even much more tougher than the forms of how it does it in the majority of the forms of the Dustman stage, is that they now able to actually include instant death spikes. So yeah, you see what I mean? About the fact that with how difficulty starts to ramp up a lot, which that is essentially how the fact that, like I said this before ever since in yesterday's video, this game is basically, it's like the equivalent, well, let's just say Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 4 equivalent to the likes of the forms of the Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2, in this case, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. I mean, surely it plays like Mega Man, and it looks like Mega Man, I mean, it plays like Mega Man, but most of the time, the level design, it might not be suited for the forms of that particular difficulty in mind, because, well, if you mess up multiple times, then obviously you got to be able to do this entire ordeal all over again. But anyways, let's go ahead and use, well, let's just say that particular drill thingy right here, so that way we can able to actually go ahead and launch ourselves upwards to get ourselves, of course, another energy tank. So because of that though, I think we should be all settled from this point right here. Oh, here's Eddie. And all he gets is basically just a weapon reveal, which I honestly might not able to actually just use it, but I'm also able to use it on Shadow Blade as far as that's been concerned with, so I guess I might be alright with that, so... Alright, so we're almost there now. It's just the fact that we have to able to do the forms of even more enemy encounters, and especially noticeable with some last few obstacles here and there. And I'm pretty sure that this particular stage might be also feels a bit kind of lengthy and stuff like that sometimes, especially noticeable you have to do with the forms of a lot of enemy encounters and stuff like that. Whilst unlike any forms of a Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy sometimes, that I will have to admit though is the fact that the level's length on that particular game it actually felt a bit of a cakewalk, but either way though, it knows what it is, so... I was expecting if I was trying to pick up the actual health pickup as well as I can usually just try to able to save at this point, so... Yeah, I guess that's not much else to it, so... Anyways, let's keep on moving, and I get the feeling that I think this might actually be... Oh, wait a second, as far as I think about it, that I think we might able to come across it to a mini-boss kind of thing about it. So in this case though, let's enter here, and we have... Oh, it's you, Susie, again. Except the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure this entire boss fight, or this mini-fight, is actually a lot similar to the likes of how it does it when we last time fight against with her, or with her rather, until you're able to actually decide able to use either, you know, Spark, Shark, or Mega Buster, if you will. But regardless of such though, it's still pretty easy if you decide able to use either Mega Buster or Spark Shark throughout. So yeah, that might be something you need to classify for realizing about this. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue things on here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we've almost done. So hopefully we should able to actually just go for this entire ordeal with all that tricky obstacles and all that stuff though. But as you probably guessed it by now, because of how the fact that my only major gripe I have with this game so far is the forms of the difficulty, which I know it's nothing like the forms of how it does it in Dr. Wily's Revenge, because obviously with the lack of movesets, that was before when the sequels didn't manage to improve upon. But regardless of such though, is the fact that with certain levels like this, that it just feels a bit too much for its difficulty and stuff like that, but it knows what it is, so... there's a good thing there's actually some more health pickups as far as this is concerned, so hopefully we'll pick those up as soon as we can, and hopefully we would be able to actually just oh jeez, I wasn't expecting for that jump, but I should be alright with that. Alright, come on. Oh no, I think I'm about to die, am I? Yep, I'm died. Oh, that's okay, because I get the feeling we might as well get the checkpoint right near towards when I somehow died from. So, that's okay, I suppose, because I get the feeling, after this particular last obstacle in the game, then in addition to able to come across into those, not only those jerk-off enemies like these, but also, let's take invincibility frames, so just in case it makes the entire thing a lot easy to go through, but hey, at least we can able to deal with it, so... Alright, here we go, fighting against with Dr. Wily for the 15th time for our Let's Play stake. So because of that though, and basically he's ended up on the forms of his machine. So because of that though, obviously the name was, this time, it was pretty obvious, it's gonna be, let's just say by the forms of, Wily Machine Form 1. And I believe, if I recall correctly, despite the fact that I somehow come across into another death, sadly, that's mainly because I wasn't paying attention. So because of that though, yeah, if you die towards Dr. Wily on Wily Machine and stuff like that, you have to go for this entire obstacle again. So because of that though, it just makes things a bit tricky. Well, it's nothing tricky and difficult about it per se, but ultimately speaking, I think this is overall pretty easy, all things considered. So in this case though, yeah, let's go ahead and refight against with Wily Machine again. So because of that though, yeah, let's just hopefully we can able to pass this time. So, as I mentioned before, this boss does have 2 phases this time, as opposed to 3 phases from the likes of the forms of Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy. Although I'm guessing it's more accurately, it's kind of like the same thing from the likes of Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, because in that game also has 2 phases. So because of that, his first phase is pretty easy when you get the hang of it though. Obviously his weakness is obviously by the forms of the Mega Buster with his charge shots and all that stuff. Whilst the forms of in the second phase on the other hand though, for the second form anyway, that I'm sure we'll probably come across into that at some point after we're doing with the forms of the first form. Although the only trickiest part about this is to dodge those missiles, so that's pretty much as far as I can think about for the sake of the first form. Although, for the most part, the first form is overall pretty easy and standard. So, now we come to the second phase, or the second form rather, and his weakness is obviously by the forms of the Screw Crusher ability, which, yeah, as far as I'm aware, because if you already took down Punk from the likes of the earliest point of that particular stage, wow, you can able to actually use a Screw Crusher. So because of that though, and that's how essentially how this deals the damage against with Dr. Wily from that particular glass dome. So yeah, I think this is overall pretty easy. The only time it's kind of annoying though sometimes is the fact that you have to rely on new forms of those very annoying ball projectile that he just keeps on shooting at us, which not only does it able to actually reach certain distances, just like you are, but also most of the time it just likes to get rid of your projectile sometimes, like, you know, that for example. And because of that though, it's almost like a constant gamble sometimes whenever you hopefully try to able to hit him, but most of the time though, I wouldn't even care if I'm able to actually get hits multiple times. But still, it's pathetically easy, all things considered, if you manage to know what you're doing. Well, at least luckily for me, we still managed to have ourselves our glorious energy tanks to spare, so at the very least we can able to actually just to keep a hold of those. So, assuming if I keep on getting hits multiple times, that's the only solution I can think of, so... Alright, so should be only 2 hits now, despite these 2 balls come out at the same time, and there he goes. Whew! Jeez, after all this entire ordeal with the forms of some difficult level design, and regardless of such though, Dr. Wily is pretty pathetically easy to deal with, so... And he somehow escaped! Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Well, after we try to escape from this entire castle, that it just somehow explodes, just like in the forms of how it does it in Mega Man 4, and pretty much any other Mega Man games for that matter, so... Yeah, it looks like that Dr. Wily just... Oh, he somehow drops and explodes, just like in the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, despite the fact that we didn't actually go into outer space this time around though. So, I guess that's a little bit different than the likes of the previous 2 games for sure. That basically it doesn't take place into outer space until the next fewer games. So, that'll be for the later time. So, yeah, let's give my final thoughts of Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. It was alright. I mean, sure, it's not one of my favorites in the entire series, but regardless of such though, is the fact that the visuals still looks relatively the same as far as the forms of the Game Boy Mega Man games as far as this is concerned. And also, the weapons themselves are nice to use. And most importantly of them all, though, is the fact that, well, this game can be pretty fun. Well, most of the time anyway, though, which I'll get into my actual major gripe I have with the game is the fact that, well, I will say, the music looks pretty, sounds pretty cool, especially noticeable because it's almost inspired by the forms of, I don't know what I usually describe about this, because I know for the fact that I haven't listened to any of those soundtrack music as much as the forms of anyone else does, but what I've noticed is the fact that, oh, it's Hammer Joe, that's what the enemies are called. So, I should pay attention to the actual enemy roll call sequences, which, yes, just like in the forms of how it does it in Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, and especially noticeable with Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, that the credit sequence is all involved around, you know, the enemy roll call again, except this time Mega Man is actually walking, just like the forms of how it does it on the first game on the Game Boy. Well, despite the fact that the actual sprites look is actually a lot different this time, so I guess that's that, I suppose. And even then, though, for that particular credit sequence, it does remind me of almost exactly similar to the likes of Mega Man 2 ending, as well as the forms of Mega Man 7's ending, but regardless of such, though, except the fact that this is on the Game Boy, of course. So, anyway, and the gameplay still looks very recognizable from any other Mega Man games up to this point, apart from the fact that, well, the actual gameplay style from the likes of this game is heavily borrowed from Mega Man 4, just because of the forms of, you know, Rush Jets is somewhat feels a bit very similar to Mega Man 4 for the NES, and so applies to the forms of able to actually add in the Charge Mega Buster. So because of that, though, I'm very appreciative about that, especially noticeable making certain stages a bit easier to tackle, well, for the most part anyway. So because of that, I think my only major gripe I have with the game sometimes for me, though, is the difficulty in this game sometimes, mainly due to the forms of the level design itself. Like, because of this, though, this game has a lot of emphasis on spikes you have to dodge and try to avoid, because much like in Mega Man 4 for the NES, and same applies to Mega Man X6, in this case the worst Mega Man X game has ever created, along with the forms of Mega Man X7, that with those three games combined, with, you know, Mega Man 4 for the NES, and Mega Man 3 on the Game Boy, and Mega Man X6 for the PlayStation, basically, though, those three games managed able to get so obsessed with the forms of trying to able to add it in so many spikes as these little deadly obstacles, which, as a result, it might be a bit too much for my honest opinion for the sake of the forms of the level design in this case. Although, the beginning it's not so bad, but until later on, though, it's getting so obsessed with the forms of spikes on it sometimes. But, yeah, apart from those aside things, though, and, also, much like the other two games, this game is also very short, but, well, I wouldn't say it's that much shorter than the forms of how it does in the other two games, because after all, you're able to actually experience, you know, the first full half of those Robot Masters based off of Mega Man 4, of course. So, in this case, though, there's not much else I can say about the forms of Mega Man 4, no, Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. Sorry, I keep thinking about another game that's about to be coming up, but, yeah, screw Dustman stage, because that stage on a Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy honestly kind of feels a bit suck. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, anyway, so it looks like that the final screenshot shows us the Wily machine itself, and as far as I'm aware, and also showing us the forms of our companions, Rush and Eddie. So, I guess that's pretty much about it, really. So, and of course, that last shot shows us that Mega Man is actually staring above the skies above, and then basically, that particular shot does almost remind me of Mega Man 2 for the NES sometimes, with that particular perspective shot, but regardless of everything else though, that was it for the likes of Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play, and I am Pac-Man here from the likes of the Merxy Toys. Excuse me, I got something on my throat there. So, up next in terms of the forms of our game selection, when it comes to doing Let's Plays from the likes of Mega Man Marathon 2, up next will be yet another Game Boy Mega Man game, and this time we're going to be hit on to Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. However though, here's the thing, is the fact that until tomorrow and the next few days, I'm actually going to be taking a break for the next few days because me, Mega Man, and Proto Man, and the rest of the crew for this entire marathon are able to have a holiday hotel break. Just in case we can able to enjoy ourselves for the rest of the summer, and then don't worry, we will be back for this marathon until the 11th of August. So join us next time, will be Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy until the 11th of August. So yeah, I'll see you guys on that day. Bye.